Today on Car Traction, I'm going to head off to a mid-morning classic car meet in the MGB GT. There's a great forecast and there aren't many other classic car events on today, so let's get going in this wonderful classic sports car to the Royal Oak pub for today's morning car meet. So, MGB startup routine. The key is down here, and we'll turn this all the way until we hear a pop, 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 pop. There goes the pop, pop, that's the electric fuel pump. Out of gear, we of course need to pull out the choke. So pull that out, more fuel, less air, and the electric fuel pump should have put air into the carb, but just in case, I'll just do a few little prods, and fingers crossed, check it's in neutral again. Should go. Not bad for a cold start. Lovely sounding car this, the 1.8 litre B series, matched up to a stainless steel exhaust. Great sound. Let's get going to today's car meet then. Here we are then at the Royal Oak pub, the site of today's breakfast, or mid-morning really. It starts at 11 AM, classic car meeting. Now Dad is at Thoresby Park for the classic car show there, so me and Mum came in this, obviously me at the wheel and Mum qualifying as the other driver you have to have when you're on L plates. So this car always gets quite a bit of attention because where else are you going to see an MGB this nice on L plates? So one of the more unique exhibits of today, you could say. And yeah, I absolutely love driving this thing. My month of insurance is coming to an end in a couple of days, so this is probably the last event that I'll be driving the MG2 for a long time. And yeah, absolutely love that. And here is this very interesting little car. This is a fantastically original Morris Minor. Now this is an early MM, I think they're called. The earlier ones of these have the split window. Oh, very nice. Aston Martin DB6 Volante. Wow. Bit of exotica turning up today. And we're back down to earth with the bread and butter classic British cars. So it's the MM with the earlier style of grille, the cheese gator grille, and the split window. So it's an early car, it predates the 1000 name, but this car's been fitted with a later 1000 engine, originally a 948cc, so is this one now with a 1098 in it. And this thing's in just awesome original condition. I'm not sure whether it was sort of retrieved from a barn at some point or something, but paint on it is absolutely awesome, and I totally agree with the owner's decision to keep the paint this original. It just looks so cool and so unique in that slightly scruffy paint, but you know, there won't be many others like that. It's also on banded steel rims, which look pretty cool. And there's always a great variety at this breakfast car meeting. Got the BMW Z4, there's a 2.3 litre straight 6 in that. I think that's a fantastic looking car actually. Really good, long bonneted car. Here's another MGB. This one a Roadster as opposed to our GT. This one in a fantastic shade of blue with the sort of, I think they're pseudo knockoff spinners on there. As is on 15-inch mini lights. It's got a kilometre converted speedo there. A little sticker on there showing what Ks you'd be doing. So maybe used around the world in foreign places where kilometres are right, so maybe European road trips or something been completed in this particular MGB Roadster, I don't know, but that's a really absolutely mint looking little car. And that Ford F-150 big V8 old pickup that followed us in. This is an interesting car, the Citroen Traction Avant. There are sort of two main variants of these, the heavy and the light. This looks to be the heavy, it was the sort of longer wheelbase version of this. These are just post-war era Citroen Traction Avant front wheel drive in translation, which is quite interesting. So it's a 4-cylinder engine, and the gearbox is actually in front of the engine, just behind the grille there, and then it drives the front wheels, which is very advanced and probably very complicated for a 1940s era car, but they are lovely looking things, these. Very nice Citroen Traction Owners Club badge there, TOC. Absolutely mint condition. These were sold in the UK, built in Slough, Citroen's factory there, and sold in France. This one being left-hand drive would suggest it's an original French market car. Yeah, beautiful condition. Very smart 190e rolling in now, followed by the very rare Triumph TR7. Let's get a look at potentially one of the star cars of today's car gathering. Look at this. This is an Aston Martin DB6 Volante Superleggera. Now, this is a car I have not seen before, and it's in absolutely wonderful condition, just gleaming under the beautiful skies we have today. So there was the DB5, which is the same front as this, but the DB6 becomes different when we go around the back. Everyone knows the DB5 is the James Bond car, but as you can see, the back of this one is different to that of the DB6. It's a much more extended back when compared to the DB6, which had just a different back. This one more of a ducktail cut-off design, and this one, as you can see, is the Volante, so the convertible variant of a car that you very rarely see, but whenever you rarely see them, they're always a hardtop. They're just usually a saloon or coupe, but this is beautiful. Look at that interior. Reflections are going against me a little bit, but that's beautiful. And being a Superleggera, this is the top of the spec super light one, so a light and DB6 Volante as well. That is pretty incredible. Did not think I'd be seeing that here today. Yeah, absolutely beautiful 1950s era Aston Martin convertible. Lovely twin cam straight six up front in these as well. Stunning old car. And the Mustang Fastback's just rolling in. Just next to the Volante we find another very good looking old convertible, the BMW Z3. Now this, in a sort of dark blue colour, I think really pops. The vast majority of these are in silver, and they do look fantastic in silver, but I haven't seen a blue one like in the flesh or in the metal really, and it looks absolutely awesome. Plenty arriving now. What a fantastic day for it today. And yeah, but when BMW made this little roadster in the sort of 90s, they're trying to emanate and sort of have a modern take on the styling of the classic BMW 507, and you can see some of the design cues, such as the sort of little air intake sort of thing on the arches, and they're just a really good retro styled car that are probably going to be getting more and more desirable. This with the red interior as well, looks very, very cool. Is this your Z3, sir? 1999. So what engine's in this one?
2.8.
Wow, okay, so
Straight six.
So these, yeah, 2.2,
Yeah.
2.8, these were sold as.
The bottom ones were for
Yes.
1.9.
So is this the wide body that everyone seems to love? Wow.
Yeah.
So it was about 190 brake or something like that. Yeah, Dad used to have a 2.8 Z3, one of these. I remember that, but we got rid of it a few years ago. It was silver, but yeah, I'm sure that sounds pretty tasty.
Yes.
The 2.8, yeah. Fantastic looking car. I love the look of it in blue as well.
It still holds up, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
Today, I mean, it doesn't look outdated.
No, it's a really good looking car, I think. Very, very nice indeed. Yeah, I could be very tempted by one of those if insurance could be afforded, which it probably couldn't be. Mark II Golf also making its way in now. Looks like we're in for a fantastic car gathering today. Pair of Nissan GTRs. Great looking little Mini over here. This is a 1989 Mini Mayfair, which has been sportied a little bit since it came out of the British Leyland factory with these nice gold Mini Light wheels. Yeah, that's a chrome surrounds on the instruments as well. Really jazzy looking little Mini here. Really nice colour as well. That's very, very shiny. And equally shiny is this. This is a very beautifully restored Land Rover Lightweight, so the lightweight, almost military spec version of the contemporary Land Rover, the Series 1. And this is a beautifully restored old off-roader, absolutely incredible mint condition. Another little Mini here. This is a Mini Flame. There are so many special editions of these. Nice little red one there. And here is a car that I don't think I'll be seeing today. This is Grandad's other slightly old and interesting car, the XJ X350, the XJ6 this one, and we didn't think he was going to be here today because he was the one who lent me the MGB, and yeah, it's quite nice to see him out and about, going to the Royal Oak breakfast car meet as well. Of course, he gets to see his own car. He said he could hear us coming down the road because I had a couple of crispy downshifts on my way in, so our presence was known, and that's something that's making its presence known. I don't even know what it is. Is it a Chevy? Beauville a Beauville Sportback, so probably a Chevy. Lifted, so it's running higher than standing on some big wheels. Sounds pretty cool. Continuing with the American theme for a Mo, this is a very, very sharp Mach 1 Mustang, 351 cubic inch V8, so that's getting on for what, about 6.7 litres or something like that. And probably an imported car to the UK here, original US market being left-hand drive, 3-speed automatic, nice little ducktail spoiler around the back as well, and the blacked out back panel looks very, very sharp on this one. I love how sort of raked that dashboard is. That's so cool. Only the driver can see the dials. You know, the passenger couldn't just look across, and yeah, that's such a cool looking car, I think. Especially with the matte black bonnet. It's probably a bit of a period mod going on there. And the Wolf Race, or at least Wolf Race style wheels with the Radial GT tyre writing, just looks so cool. It's just exactly how a souped up one of these would have looked when it was 10 or 15 years old. So cool. For a modern car, I think these Alfa Romeos look quite sharp, but we're focusing on the classics today, and something that certainly does fulfill the classic name is this beautiful Mercedes 250, this one from 1972, for sale for £7,500, and what a beautiful car it is. Wow. In immaculate condition, this lovely 1970s 4-seater saloon as the Cobb replica comes in. But yeah, so 250 will be a 6-cylinder engine in these, probably sold as autos and manuals, and this one is an auto. But you know, the quality of Mercedes in this period, absolutely unmatched, and this car, I'm going to say it will probably never fail you. It looks beautiful in this repainted silver, and yeah, potentially actually a good buy for someone, because that looks to be a really nice and usable old Mercedes that would sit happily on a motorway at 70-75 mile per hour. Good looking car as well. Yeah, I do like the look of that one. Having a 6-cylinder would be nice and unstressed to drive as well. Yeah, I'm sure you can tell I do quite like the look of that old Merc. Very nice other little Mini here, another relatively late Mini. This is a 30-year edition or something like that. There's the Abarth, almost like a little racing car, that one. I know there's quite a popular racing series for these. Here's the Z3 and the DB6 Volante we had a look at earlier. There's probably a couple of years old, this one, Porsche 911, looking very sleek in black. The Chevy Custom Deluxe pickup here, rebodied on the back, I think, to a flatbed, making as much use of that wide cab as possible. More pickup. This is the one that followed us in, the big V8 in this again, the F-150, even more V8s over here, the M5 V8 here, and the, what is this, an XF-R or something, this Jaguar. The XJR was always the Jaguar super saloon of the sort of 90s and very early 2000s, but this is a Jaguar XF or XE, I think it's probably an XF, and it sort of took over the XJ name as preferred by people as being a little bit smaller than the contemporary XJ, and this one has had quite a fancy air intake set up on it, much like the Volkswagen Fox at home, and supercharged as well, being an R, so supercharged V8 engine in these, and all Jaguar, you know, sporting brakes and suspension and exhaust and engine and interior, and that's actually pretty cool, because that's sort of like a modernish version. It's probably 15 years old, if not older, of the old XJRs of the sort of 1990s, so I actually do quite like that. It looks very sleek in black. Saw this one a couple of weekends ago, a very nice and burbly Mercedes 190E. Some cool wheels on that one. Here's the Triumph TR7. This has got some what look to be MGTF wheels on it, which is an unusual mod, but I mean, it's yellow, so how can you not love it, you know? We've got two yellow cars at home. Dad's out in the MX-5 Mark 1, which is yellow, and the Fox was out earlier today to go to the car boot, bought a old bottle jack, and now it's at home, and of course we're out in the MG. But that really pops in that colour, doesn't it? Just next to the TR7 over there is this stunning Ferrari now. I'm pretty much through and through a classic car guy, but this car is probably early 2000s, and I just think it's absolutely awesome. It's a Ferrari 599, I think, GT or something, but, you know, I think it's just awesome. Pininfarina designed, beautiful GT body. It's got a V12 up front, naturally aspirated, and early paddle shift probably technology. It's kind of early then, and that's interesting. Yes, so this was probably sold as a manual as well, and as you can see, this is the there's a little badge there that says this is the F1 edition. So like the Ferrari 355 F1 was the one with the paddle shift, so this is the sort of upgraded paddle shift version of the 599. It's got huge alloy wheels and some very nice brake discs and calipers, but I think that's just such a stunning GT car. It sort of emanates the classic Ferrari Daytona style, and I just think that looks absolutely awesome. Me and Grandad were just chatting to the owner of the XF-R. Originally 510 brake horsepower, now 640 brake horsepower, so a lot of work on that supercharged V8, and I'm sure that'd be pretty quick. Apparently it's straight piped apart from a couple of, compulsory catalytic converters, so quite interesting. Yes, so this is a good looking little car, isn't it? Very nice, and sort of, I don't know, what's the word? Sympathetically modified, let's say that. Mark II Escort. Far from standard, but it's not too far that would make it horrible for road use. Some nicely body, sort of the pinstripe, and the wheels are the sort of same colour, the accents on them, looking very snazzy. Nice Lombard RAC Rally Sunstrip, that sort of thing they would have had when they were being modified in period. So I do quite like that. And this is the Ford Escort LX, there you go. So potentially a higher roofline, I think, estate version of the Escort. Absolutely just forgotten about car, really, and some snazzy yellow spot lamps on the front. The 205 GTI, these are really good looking little cars. Just look at the interior and that, just absolutely beautiful inside. I think with these like Pininfarina designed or something, they're really good looking little cars. As that's the second MGB GT of the day rolling in now. This particular Chevy pickup actually sees quite a lot of regular use in the local town. It looks sort of like a really original and patinated truck, but this is actually just an effect, I think. It's actually beautifully done, to be honest, but it's all absolutely immaculate. It's just sort of paint sprayed on to give it that really cool look, but it's actually absolutely immaculate, that truck, don't be fooled, apart from the bumper, which seems to have genuine patina. There's a VW Caddy van. Now some of these can be sleepers, because I know you can shoehorn the contemporary Golf GTI engines into these old vans, so that could actually be quite a sleeper, that one, sort of like 300 brake horsepower or something maybe. And this is an interesting little car. This looks to be sort of like a Robin Hood, which I had a ride in one of these a couple of months back at the Hopley House Breakfast Classic Car Meet, and they're basically usually a Ford Pinto engine with some raucous carbs and a pretty loud exhaust, and they're just sort of like a home-built kit car sort of thing. They're like a more affordable version of Westfields and Caterhams, and to be honest, there's not a great deal of difference in the actual driving experience. This one does look to have a Ford Pinto engine, a very tunable and good sounding little engine, and they seem to drive really well, very direct steering, very good handling cars regardless of make, and 5-speed manual as well to bang some gears in. Yeah, I'm sure that would actually be pretty entertaining to drive. Here's the first of two Nissan GTR Skylines. Now these are the R34 generation. I won't be surprised if these are making 800 or 900 brake horsepower. Extremely tunable 6-cylinder engine in these, and there's the manual gearbox shifter, and that's either a hydraulic quick release handbrake for drifting or a sequential gearbox lever, so as opposed to a manual where you have to sort of go from gear to gear. Sequentials where you see it in race cars where you just go bang 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 up and then down down down. So it's either a bit of a drifter or probably more likely a sequential gearbox in that, so that's pretty special. And this also looks to be a relatively crazily modified next to the Honda, like, what's it called, like a day van or something. But yeah, there are the two R34 GTRs looking pretty cool. What is rolling in now? It's an interesting old sort of 90s era Ford Ranger. To be honest, I actually quite like the look of that. Just next to the old Traction is this very smart little Haleman Imp. The owner of this car, I think, has another one, yes, in red, that is appearing on there. The jazzy blue tinted headlamps on the front of that one. I think this one's had a little bit of a tuned engine, or at least a louder exhaust on it. It does sound pretty purposeful. And just next to that we find this very tasty Mark I Escort. Now these were originally sold as a single cam 4-cylinder, but the little badge that says twin cam on the side of this denotes a twin cam Lotus tuned engine. This is a very modified car, but also the period parts. It's got the strut bar for rigidity on there, lovely pair of Weber carburetors just down there for the air into the engine. Twin cam, very powerful engine, 1600, and an absolutely fantastic old car. I think it's recently had a little bit of paintwork done, and the owner gets plenty of use out of it, along with his TVR and Lotus Cortina Mark 1. Yeah, beautifully sort of period tuned car. It's a fantastic event today, organised by the Royal Oak in Wurliston, and there's so many more cars still to see. The second MGB of the day, this is the later MGB, I think a post, what is it, 76, 7 or 8 I think. They went to these, the rubber bumper cars known for the 5 mph impact bumpers, which a lot of people think ruin the styling, but you know, a lot of people used to take these and convert them to chrome bumpers, because you can, with a little bit of cutting, put them back on the chrome bumpers. But I think now the rubber bumper cars, which were seen as uglier for a lot of the time, are kind of becoming appreciated more, and they're being left as original, which is good to see. And this one is left as original, apart from those incredible wheels and tyres. Wow, this is a great little car. See it around quite a lot. The little Alpha Sud 1.3 litre flat 4-cylinder engine here, cloth interior, super original little car. Nice little racing Momo Alfa Romeo steering wheel. Yeah, cool little thing. Very, very rare as well. The vast majority of these would have just rusted very quickly. 997 generation Porsche 911 Carrera S, this one. I think they're a really good looking car, those. Very nice Cobra replica. This is actually quite a cool one, because look at the engine. It's the Chevy small block 350, so not as big as the 427 that would have originally been in it. I think this is the 350, but this has had a very nice set of carburetors with intake trumpets put on it. They just look absolutely perfect. Really, real sort of period mod. You know, this car was made in 2006, believe it or not, and you know, it's actually a really nicely done one. The dials and the steering wheel look in the old style, and the seats, especially with the separate pleating and the separate bucket seats, they just look really nice, I think. And yeah, especially those carbs really make the engine really nice. Downdraft carburetors with the trumpets on that. I'm sure that'll make a lovely, lovely noise. Incredible looking Audi S5 on those really amazing rotiform wheels. Wow. They really make the car very, very nice. And the absolutely huge, I think it's probably a Chevy, the Beauville Sport Van 20. Great looking little Morgan 4/4 here. Sort of, what is it, a 1990s or 2000s era car. These are made right up from the late 1940s to still today. Well, the registration's 02, but that's probably a private registration, so it could be 02, it could also not be. 4-cylinder car, these are sold as 4s and 8s, and they originally sold as 4-cylinders and then 8-cylinders, I think, later on, and then some of the later ones have got 6-cylinders. This is a 4-cylinder, being a 4/4. Absolutely beautiful paintwork, and what I can't help noticing about this is probably the sort of car that my little Morgan pedal car was based on. It's either just gone out or already coming up in my shed tour video about all my automobilia collection, and it just looks pretty much like the car my pedal car was based on. There's of course an official Morgan pedal car, but yeah, here's the real thing, looking very, very shiny. Just past the lovely 205 is this very smart and very, very shiny Mustang Fastback. 1967 tax disc, probably an original American car. Ooh, nice. Left-hand drive, but this probably originally, many of these were sold with a 3-speed auto. This has been either converted or very rare. No, it's been converted, hasn't it? 5-speed manual gearbox. Some of these might have come as 4 speeds as a manual gearbox, but they'd be very rare, and this has probably been converted from a 3-speed auto to the 5-speed manual. 19,000 miles on the clock as well, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, that with a manual gearbox and those lovely twin exhaust pipes would be a great drive. Here's the slightly later era Camaro as well. But I think this Mustang just looks absolutely awesome, very much like the Bullet Mustang in the Steve McQueen film that we all know. There's the Camaro later car. You can see the different style of bumpers, less chrome, more sort of plastic black on that one, and on the end this incredible looking Pontiac Catalina. Quite a collection of hatchbacks along here, starting off with the Mark II generation Golf, either a GTI or plenty GTI parts on there. I do like the red accents on the front of that one. Actually quite a base spec, this one, sort of interrupting the hot hatch row. This is a Mark II Fiesta Finesse. Wow, what a mint little car this is. Wow, yeah, very, very clean and original. Incredible car. And here's the sporty variant of the same generation of Mark II Fiesta, and another one for good measure just next to it, with some bonnet vents on there. Very nice looking Subaru here, roll cage, and it would suggest this is either for track day or rallying. And the Evo, another high power Japanese saloon. These are both very, very tunable cars, the flat 4 and the inline 4 in the Mitsubishis. Here's that great looking old Chevrolet again. And there's another great looking Chevy here. This is a 1953 Chevy Bel Air. This super modified car looks to have been imported from the USA in that condition there. Actually looked quite nice and original, but maybe it was a little bit rusty underneath, and now it looks like that. This incredible polished metal finish, really amazing looking car. The old Citroen Traction's leaving. I think that's the Light 15 model. I know I said earlier it was the Heavy, but the Heavy had an extra window, so that is the Light 15, but I got that wrong because even the Light looks like quite a long wheelbase, but that's going off quite early. Let's get a little look over here. The beautiful David Brown twin cam 6-cylinder engine out on the DB6 Volante. Well, that's quite a unit, that, probably getting on for 4 litres or something, triple SU carbs. What a beautiful, beautiful engine that is. Got the oiling point right, just tucked under the rocker cover there. And also the roof down, that's much better to see. Now we can get a look at the interior. All the fittings are just absolutely beautiful quality on this car. Really, really stunning old car. Another very smart Mark II Escort rolling in. These are desirable cars now, the Mark I Ford Focus RS. Now I'm not sure if this is here for the meet or it just happens to be just here for the pub, but this is an interesting old E39 generation BMW 5 Series. Very, very small rims, so perhaps low spec rims, but this is either an enthusiast car or just the sort of car that was bought first or second hand and has just been really reliable, and there's been no reason to sell it, so it could even be, you know, second or third owner. Probably quite likely that this is in, you know, regular use. It's in immaculate condition. 523 ISO, 2.3 litre straight 6 in this one, and yeah, automatic gearbox. I wouldn't be surprised if this just happens to be just someone's car, you know, that's just turned up for a meal, because they're meant to be quite reliable old things, these are, and yeah, interesting one in very, very nice and original condition. I should also mention this little Nissan Primera has turned up quite an interesting little car, being a 2 litre EZX, one of only 2 in the country. I think this one stood for just under 30 years and it's recently been resurrected and passed its MOT very well, so, you know, one of 2 on the road. I think it might be coming up for sale soon as well, so insanely rare Nissan Primera. Just been chatting with the owner of this absolutely gorgeous DB6 Volante, and it turns out this car, he said, is a rolling restoration, and it's absolutely as original as it could be. Totally original paintwork, absolutely unmolested, and yeah, I thought it had been restored, but no, it was just in immaculate and crazy clean original condition, and with that history being so nice, original and untouched, that's just the perfect car. Also looks a lot better with the roof down. We can get another great look at that beautiful instrumentation on the interior. Sudden influx of arrivals. I don't quite know why so much has just turned up. There's a lovely Triumph Stag fitted with a hard top. Look at that. That's a really nice looking old Stag. And yeah, I don't know where all these guys have come from. There's another Fiesta and I think 4 Abarths also rolling in as well. Wow. I think just before we close up for today's really fantastic classic car gathering, I'll have a look at the latest couple of arrivals. The 911 Target, a car we've seen very often at a variety of events, and here's a little car we haven't seen often, an absolutely immaculate and beautifully restored by the looks of it, MG Midget. This has had some love on it, hasn't it? Wow, looking under the arches, absolutely mint, new paint under there, pretty sure. These have got the A series, the MGB's the B series. What an immaculate little car that is. Wow, amazing condition little midget. And one of the more interesting other new arrivals is this very smart Triumph Stag automatic, matched up to the 3-litre V8 in these. And what I like about this is, apart from the nice red colour, is it's fitted with the hardtop. These are usually convertibles, but the hardtop really makes the car look a very nice shape on the side profile. And yeah, I really do like that. But I think that is pretty much it from today's walk around of the Royal Oak at Wurliston's fantastic classic car and sports car and enthusiast car gathering. That's one rare little primary. Let me know what your favourite car of the day was, and I think that's pretty much it for this video. So thanks for watching and goodbye.